Julia, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a very happy start to your holiday season. I've been playing Mariah Carey since the 22nd of November, so I'm super excited for today's video. It's going to be the last new makeup releases, favorites, and fails of the year. This was actually supposed to be a current favorites video originally, but I figured since we're so near to the 2020 favorites video, I would just hold that off until the end, and then maybe include a couple favorites at the end of this video as a surprise. If you're new here, this is my beloved, not really series, but still kind of a series, where I basically just go through all the new makeup releases I tried out recently and review them. Creative concept, I know. But I haven't done one of these in a while, so I have a lot of things to go through today, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'll talk about what I'm wearing on my face throughout because, spoiler alert, new favorite palette in town. Today's Dew Fairy of the day is my lovely, gorgeous, beautiful baby Gabby on Instagram. Every time I interact with you in comments, it brings a very big smile to my face, so thank you for existing. And before we jump into all the reviews, I want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is ShopTagger. When I tell you that ShopTagger saved my so many times holiday shopping, such an asset. I truly can't imagine shopping without it. ShopTagger is an online browser extension that you can add on super easily to Google Chrome. And basically how it works is whenever you're online shopping at any store, if you see something you like, you can just hit the ShopTagger button. It automatically saves that item to a wish list and then keeps track of it for you if the price goes down or if the item comes back in stock. As I mentioned, I loved it so much for Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping, both for getting things for others, and then the wish list function just makes it really easy for me to remember what I've been looking at for the year. So if anyone asks me, what can I get you for Christmas, Julia, my love? I got a list. They also have an absolutely bomb coupon extension, so when you're in checkout, an option pops up to ask you if you want to try out coupons, and it'll automatically try out any coupon codes that it finds online, saving you money on your purchase. Here's a little look at what my wishlist looks like right now. They also have a new cashback function that basically allows you to make back a portion of what you spend at each store when you're shopping, and they have a bunch of different boutiques and stores on there. But I absolutely recommend using ShopTagger. It's completely free, and it'll be awesome to virtually hit all those after Christmas sales. But ShopTagger has been a long-time partner on this channel, and I've been working with them the entire year, so I'm super thankful to them for sponsoring today's little video. I think that's all I have to say. Get some caffeine into you, and let's get into this. Oh my god, I forgot my new intro. Let's get crack-a-lackin'. Alright, I'm gonna first start off with the new releases from Kaleidos because these have been living in my mind rent-free since they've been sneaked. Kaleidos came out with some new things and some repackaged old things this holiday season. The new products were 2 new highlighters and then a bunch of new brushes, but then they also, for some reason, repackaged all of the Space Age highlighters again. I do love the old packaging though, and I love the old formulas. They did offer to send me either just the new releases or the new releases and the repackaged old ones, and I was just like, nah. I'm gonna keep the old ones. I'm actually wearing Ray Rider on my cheekbones right now. But 2 new highlighters, one of which actually made its way onto Trendmood and kind of blew up, so very proud of them. They came out with the Prophecy highlighter, multi-chrome, kind of purple, pink, gold, green flip. It's just absolutely insane. I don't even think that my camera does it justice, but the shift in the light is just so unique and so interesting. I would say that the predominant shift in this, the one that picks up the most, would definitely be the green. It is a really pretty sheer base tone overall. I don't think that it has a strong like white undertone or anything, so I do think this is going to work on a bunch of different skin tones. And then of course it is kind of like a multi-chrome duochrome highlighter, so it is a little bit glittery. It's not necessarily going to be the smoothest, like most natural looking glow. If you're wanting that, Ray Rider is the way to go. Formula wise, I think this is lovely. I think it is extremely smooth and just a very unique color that I don't have anything like in my collection. Super fun on the eyes as well. I like this on the lids and then on the inner corners. Only problem, I don't love how it looks on my own cheekbones. I think that if you really do love colorful highlighters a lot, the Space Age highlighter collection, they're my favorite colorful highlighters. I did film a video about 2 weeks ago wearing this on my cheekbones, and I think I might have ended up not using the video. Or you might see it like 2 weeks from now, just in case I need content. But this just kind of made my face look tinny, is the really best way I can describe it. I just don't think it's a super flattering tone on me because I just think that the green undertone makes me look vaguely sick. And then they also came out with a repackaged and kind of reformulated Mars Melter. Mine came slightly broken, so I'm just gonna be very careful showing it to you guys, but it's this kind of like pinky, peachy, glittery toned highlighter. What I love about Kaleidos' more like glittery, colorful Space Age highlighters is that they work so beautifully on the eyes as well. So this shade I think is just going to be beautiful with kind of like pinky toned eye looks as well. I didn't really think that there was anything super wrong with the original Mars Melter, just that it was maybe a little bit chunkier and like drier in formula, whereas this is a lot smoother and it's not wet necessarily, but it's a lot less dry and icy on the cheekbones. I think this melts in a little bit more, though it is a glittery highlighter. So space age highlighters wise, I still have a special place in my heart for Ray Rider. This one, it's obviously like the most basic, but I think it's just the best formula and I use it regardless of what eye look I'm wearing. It's just my no-brainer favorite highlighter right now. Laser Glazer, I would love for them to come out with this again. I don't use this on my face, obviously, because it's a little Shrek for me, but this highlighter, here, I'll swatch it next to the Prophecy one. This is obviously a lot more metallic and glittery, so I use Laser Glazer on the eyes pretty often as like a kind of lime green accent. And then I would say Diamond Dasher is my number 3 favorite in the collection. This is a little bit of a more glittery highlighter, but it's kind of a cross between champagne and pink, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So those are my thoughts on the new Kaleidos highlighters. And also shout out to them for doing a really great job with minimal packaging. I requested that and they were awesome about it. Favorite thing I tried out this month, possibly this year. I think the video where I boldly dubbed this my new favorite palette in my entire collection has already come out before this video, so not me acting like that title actually has any bearing. She's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. Everything I could want in a neutral palette and more, possibly. Dare I say, I think this is a better version than Soft Glam. Formula-wise, I think Nabla's formula is just a step up from the ABH formula, which you know I love, but I think that the Nabla formula has the same amount of pigmentation, the same amount of really like soft creaminess to the shadows when you touch them, but they're not as powdery, so I think they're a little bit easier to work with. The Anastasia formula is very, like, you dip your brush in there and you will get powdery kick up. I have Bonjour, Tempera, Ray of Light on the inner corner, and then Body and Soul is the beautiful shade all over the lids. And then I think I used Burnt Sienna in this look, I don't remember. It was literally this morning, but hey. This has also been the only thing I've wanted to reach for, so you'll see a couple other palettes in this video that I had to like force myself to use because ever since I got this, it's really been the only thing I've wanted to reach for when I'm doing a neutral look. I think you get the best of all worlds in here. You get really amazing buttery quality mattes, super high impact shimmers, so Body and Soul and Better Society, these have like almost like duochromy glittery particles in there that catch the light in this really unique way, but still look neutral on the eyes obviously, as well as some softer shimmers. So like Magic Moment, this is just a little soft, beautiful kind of like rosy gold moment that's not going to steal the show necessarily, but is still stunning. Everything in here works, everything in here makes sense. I wouldn't move around the arrangement of anything. It's just perfect. I just love it. And
gigantic mirror.
I wish that I was making my like Nabla spotlight video now, because this would without a doubt be my favorite palette from them. I still do love the Secret palette, and I think that one is the best option that I would recommend if you're wanting a Nabla palette and you want some colorful shades as well. But if you're wanting the best Nabla palette ever, side to side. Have I been calling it the side to side palette? Ariana just bounces around in here rent-free. Oh my god! Some other things that were in the collection with the palette, but then kind of got overshadowed because obviously, how would you not get overshadowed? Nabla also came out with a line of nude lip liners, so these are the close-up lip shapers. I have 2 open right now, Nude 1 and Nude 4, but it's a really beautiful spectrum of all nude lip liners. My go-to nude lip liners are from the Colourpop BFF line, which is kind of the same idea. I think there's 4 BFF liners, and they go from like light nude to very deep nude. So I had BFF 1 and 2. Those were kind of my favorites, but they did edge a little bit to the pinky nude side, and sometimes you need a bit more of a brown tone nude, or just something that's neutral nude. Formula wise, these are lovely. I love my lip liners to be a little bit more on the creamy side, a little bit more glidey. I know some people prefer a little bit of a stiffer, kind of like more pencil-y lip liner, just so it'll stay in place longer, but I'm not about that. I like my lip liners creamy. I'm going to be including the other 4 lip liners in the giveaway coming very soon. Should be the next like 3 videos or so. Last giveaway of the year. It's gonna be very big. I really like these a lot. Do you need to spend a ton of money on a high-end lip liner? Absolutely not. I think lip liner is one of those things that you don't have to spend a ton of money on to get a really good formula. Case in point, I think the Colourpop lip liners are exactly the same as the Kylie Cosmetics ones, but I think a good classic nude lip liner is an essential in anyone's collection, and I really like the shade offerings from the Nabla one. I think they're really good undertone wise. And finally, the last thing in the collection that I didn't think I was going to have any feelings for was the Ruby Lights glitter palette, which is 4 little pressed glitter pans. The packaging is this clear packaging, which you guys know I have
A vendetta
against clear acrylic packaging, but this is pretty sturdy. Y'all know me and pressed glitters. I feel like when they're thrown into a random color scheme, especially with Colourpop palettes, it's just, why? The only way I'm really down with pressed glitters is when they're in their own little sequestered area. So I think a little palette like this is actually perfect. I wouldn't feel the same way if one of these pressed glitters had been thrown into the side-by-side palette. My personal favorite shade is Virgo. It's kind of like a cross between a blush pink and a purple, but also has a bit of a taupe neutral twist in there. Also, these glitters are 100% vegan, so that's cool. The reason I want to mention this is because if you're looking for chunkier, more like high impact pressed glitters that don't crease super easily, I think these are actually a really great option. I wore these in that video that I mentioned where I was wearing the Kaleidos highlighter, so you didn't see the makeup look. When I kind of wear a thicker, more chunky pressed glitter, I feel like it tends to lift up and move around on the eyes just because they're bigger particles. I didn't really see any like creasing or movement around. Because they're not a sticky base, unless you use like a glitter glue on the lids, they are going to like kind of transfer and fall onto your under eyes if you wear them for a long time because you're blinking. They fall. It's not really something I would have bought for myself just because I don't use glitters often enough to justify me having a separate glitter palette. They do be very pretty though, so holiday vibes, holiday vibes. For today's shocker review of the day, I decided to give Natasha Denona shadows a second chance. I think it's been almost a good 2 years since I last tried or owned Natasha Denona shadows. I never really disliked the ND formula. I didn't think that it was worth the money by any means though. I think their formula, especially in the way that their palettes are packaged, these are fairly open air, which is fine, except I do feel the Natasha formula is very prone to drying out, and then it also doesn't perform the same way once it dries out, which I don't think is acceptable when you're paying $48 for a 5-pan palette. This is their newest little 5-pan. This is called the Peak Eyeshadow Palette, and it's actually almost all mattes except for one shimmer in here, so I was pretty excited to try this out just because the old palette that I owned from ND had 1 matte and 4 shimmers in there, and I thought their shimmer formula was definitely their strong suit. So I was pretty excited to see how the mattes performed. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with how nice these are. Granted, these are very basic shades. Nothing in here is like a particularly difficult or stingy color to formulate, so I wasn't surprised that they were like nice because it's not hard to make a really nice neutral matte brown. But I found the mattes to be very creamy, very nice and easy to blend, which was very nice because the last time I tried their shadows dried out super quickly, so I really felt like I didn't get to enjoy the one matte shade before it dried out and became kind of like crappy. Anyways, I really like the matte selection in here. Kind of reminds me of the new Big Poppy palette from Colourpop that just came out. I think these palettes would 100% be worth it if they were about $20 cheaper. I would 100% be recommending them because I think the formula is really, really lovely. I wouldn't recommend an ND palette unless the color scheme really makes your heart sing. Other than that, I'm very glad I was able to try out the formula again. I think it has improved since the last time I tried it out, but I would say my thoughts overall haven't changed that much. I still don't think that they're 100% worth the amount of hype that they get, but they're not bad shadows by any means. Alright, I'm gonna breeze through these. I'm gonna force breeze through these very quickly because I already did a full dedicated review video for this collection, but I wanted to just touch back in on the Robbie de Christie Colourpop collection, share what I've been like continuing to use since doing that review video. I continue to love this palette. Granted, I haven't been reaching for it as often on work days. I was using this a lot for doing neutral looks because I love the neutrals in here and I think they're really well performing, but I wasn't reaching for this, particularly these 3 matte shades in here, because I felt like these 3 shades are exactly the same as what's in the ND palette and I was wanting to test that out more, so I was making myself use that when I wanted to reach for these 3 shades. But I have still been dipping in here, especially for, surprisingly, Let It Rain has been something I've been wanting on my eyes almost every day. I really love doing winged liner using eyeshadow. I think it just gives such a beautiful, soft, blown out look that a liquid liner or even like a cream gel liner can't really give you. So, palette has continued to be impressive. Gotta say, I've been reaching for my Cellium very often too. I don't think that this by any means tops Ritz. Ritz is still #1 in my opinion, but I've just been loving this a lot, especially as we kind of approach the holiday season, especially as we're still kind of in the fall makeup color schemes. I've been using a lot of warm tones for my neutrals on my eyes, and this just pairs so beautifully. The liners though, I have kind of not been reaching for as much just because I kind of forget to reach for liners like this. So the only one I've been really using has been the brown liner to do a nice brown winged eyeliner every now and then for work. Then of the 2 glosses, I've been reaching for Glacier pretty often. I haven't been using the other one. She's lovely. I love the Luxe Gloss formula. I'm going to talk about the Luxe Lip Oil formula later though, but they are very neck and neck in terms of comfort, and I think this is one of the best glosses on the market. But yeah, still loving the Robbie de Christie collection, but watch the review video if you want extended thoughts. That video took me a long time, so please give it some love. Let me make Hannah mad real quick. These are so good. I can't believe I haven't tried these out until now. I never allowed myself to pick them up because I already have like so many different glosses in my collection. So in the past like year or so that these have been out, I've never added them onto a Colourpop order. but they showed up on my doorstep.
I am smart, but I'm also kind of a dumbass.
So juicy plumping glosses. I don't care. I love them. They're so good. These aren't really super plumping, so I don't think that they necessarily pass like the Nisa Pisa test. They really only give you just a tiny bit of like a minty sensation that most minty menthol glosses will give you. So it's a little bit of tingling, but it's no plumping by any means. I think it's just a little bit of like, oh hey, I'm doing something. If you're wanting like painful lip plumping, the Nabla Viper Lip Plumper is the way to go, or the Too Faced Lip Injection Gloss. That is painful. So on the plumping scale, these get like a 1 out of 10. But on the juicy scale, oh, they're so pretty. I think it's mostly just the born in the early 2000s part of me that loves these so much, but something about applying a gloss out of a squeezy tube like this just feels different. Shade recommendations, I would go for Princess Cut if you're wanting just something that works with everything. Obviously, Small Talk is this really beautiful nudie pink. These are good, I don't care. Two more things. This is super random, but this was gifted to me and I wanted to review it because it's actually so pretty on the inside. This is a palette from a brand called Hipdot. I think it's an indie brand. I think I've seen a couple of their products before, but this color scheme, very pretty. It's inspired by Utah caves, so I love this outer packaging. I love that the color scheme inside actually reflects the colors on the outer packaging. What I love about this ends there, unfortunately. That was so mean, I'm sorry. I loved like this part of the palette. I think all of these shades perform really nicely. These four mattes in here, these purples, and then these more like burgundy reddish tone pinks, these were pretty hard to work with. I just feel like these are not the most pigmented purples. Like it looks really pretty, but then it's just like the prettiest shades in here were just the ones that didn't really perform all that well, especially Whisper right here. Darker purples in general are pretty difficult to formulate, but this one was just like 0% pigment. So color scheme wise, I think this is beautiful. Alternatives for this, I think the Kaleidos Futurism Lavender palette, vaguely similar vibes, but definitely with better matte purples in here and a little bit more on the cool tone sides. Kind of reminds me of the Nabla Dreamy palette as well, but with a few more matte purples in there, as well as the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk with a little bit less high impact shimmers. And then last and kind of least, this little blush has been decorating the background of this video because it's pretty, and that's about it. This is Colourpop's holiday collection, the Namoureux collection. I got the Boudoir Noir palette, which looks all neutrals, but it has some kind of like sage greens in here, which I've noticed has been a very big color this year, as well as kind of like a greeny gold pressed glitter. So I wasn't like not excited about the color scheme, but I wasn't super excited either. There's also a blush in the collection that looks vaguely of NARS Orgasm, pressed glitters, and then the Luxe Lip Oil. I'm just not super whelmed by this collection. I think there have been better things this year, just more exciting color schemes from Colourpop. Formula wise, it's not bad. I think the two greens in here, this kind of like olive green that looks brown in the pan, but it's a pretty dark olive green, and then the sage down here, they're like fine. I don't think that they show up super green on the eyes. They do lose a little bit of that tinge, so they just kind of look like murky browns, which is not cute. Really, the only thing I liked from the collection was the Luxe Lip Oil. I love this formula a lot. I think it's just a teensy bit thinner than the Luxe Lip Glosses, so if you're wanting something just a bit more comfortable, I would go for these. However, there's very little like color payoff to them, so get any shade you want. They're all gonna look the same. I think there's so much potential with a collection based off like French royalty, Louis XIV, Marie Antoinette type stuff. So, in conclusion, rise and shine. Alright guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. A lot of different things this month, but I think overall it was a pretty good product lineup. Thank you again to Shop Taggart for sponsoring today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed down below. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you know what's up. Bye.
So far when you've got a head start.
Hey, it's Pooter. Nice to meet you. What's up? The name's Poop. Hey guys, it's my little farty girl. Hi, my name's Poopy. It's nice to meet you.